Hello and welcome. You know, there's a classic puzzle that trips a lot of people up. What is the actual difference between the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and England? Well, today we're going to untangle that knot once and for all. By the end of this, you'll have it all figured out. Okay, let's dive in.
So, the big question, are these all just different ways of saying the same thing? The short answer is no, not at all. They aren't the same, and the differences are actually pretty fascinating once you break them down. So let's get into it.
And let's be real, this is the question we're all secretly thinking, right? Now, most Brits are probably way too polite to ever correct you, but getting it right really shows you know your stuff. So let's solve this thing for good. All right, to kick things off, we're going to build our understanding from the ground up, starting with the biggest piece of this whole puzzle. First up is the United Kingdom. Now, if you look at a world map, this is the official name of the sovereign state. But what that state actually is, well, that's where things get really unique. And right here is where the confusion usually starts. See, the United Kingdom isn't a country in the way you might think of France or Japan. It's something much, much more interesting. To put it simply, the UK is a country that's made of other countries. Just think of it like a team of 4 distinct nations. We've got England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and they've all come together to form one single sovereign state. If you get this one idea, the rest is going to make so much more sense. So here they are, the 4 nations that make up the UK. You've got England, which is the biggest and the reason it's so often mistaken for the whole thing. Then you have Scotland up north, Wales to the west, and, don't forget, Northern Ireland. Now, a little tip. While they are all technically British citizens, people from Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland generally prefer not to be called English. Just a friendly heads up. And here is a massive clue hiding in plain sight this whole time. The country's full, official name is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. That name right there actually tells you exactly how the country is put together geographically. So that name brings up a really important point, and that's the difference between geography and politics. You have to separate the landmass from the law. We just heard its name in the UK's official title, so what exactly is Great Britain? Is it a country? Is it some kind of special club? What's the deal? And here is the absolute key. Great Britain is a geographical term. It's an island. It's a piece of land you can point to on a map. The United Kingdom, on the other hand, is a political term. It's a country, a sovereign state. They are 2 totally different kinds of things, and you can't just swap them. Okay, so this whole area is called the British Isles, and it's basically made up of 2 big islands. The biggest one is Great Britain, and that's where you'll find England, Scotland, and Wales. The smaller island next to it is Ireland. And here's where it gets really tricky for a lot of people. The island of Ireland contains 2 different countries. You've got Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, and then you have the completely independent Republic of Ireland.
So we've sorted out the islands, but believe it or not, the puzzle actually gets bigger when we start to look beyond the British Isles and check out the role of the British Crown.
You know, if you've ever been to Canada or Australia or New Zealand, you might have seen the Queen or King on the money and wondered, wait, what's going on here? This question actually opens up a whole history about the British Empire and a really unique concept.
The answer lies in this idea of the crown. And no, we're not talking about the sparkly hat in the Tower of London. The crown is actually a legal concept. It's like a corporation that is embodied by the monarch. It's the legal thread that connects a whole network of places all around the world to the British monarchy. So first up in this network, you have the Commonwealth realm. These are places like Canada and Australia. They're former colonies that became fully independent countries, but they did it peacefully. So as a symbolic link to their history, they still recognize the British monarch as their head of state. Next, we have something called the Crown Dependencies. You've got the Isle of Man, Jersey, and Guernsey. Now, these places are really interesting. They are not part of the UK, but they're not independent either. They're self-governing territories that belong directly to the Crown. So their people are British citizens, but they have their own local governments. And finally, there are the British Overseas Territories. Think of places like Gibraltar or the Falkland Islands. These are basically the last remnants of the old British Empire. They haven't become independent, and they still count on the UK for things like defense. And just like the Crown Dependencies, the people there are British citizens.
Okay, I know that was a lot of information, from a country of countries to the crown. So now let's put all of these pieces together and make one simple, clear picture.
I think the absolute best way to picture all of this is to imagine two separate worlds that overlap in the middle. You've got the political world of the Crown and the geographical world of the British Isles. So in that first world, the political one, everything is connected to the Crown. That includes the United Kingdom itself, all those independent Commonwealth realm countries, the self-governing Crown dependencies, and the British overseas territories. Then in the second world, the geographical one, we're just looking at the physical land masses. So that includes the United Kingdom, the totally separate Republic of Ireland, and the Crown dependencies. And here's the cool part. Notice how the UK and the Crown dependencies show up in both worlds? That's where they overlap. So, if you're going to remember one thing, let it be this. The United Kingdom is the country, the political state. Great Britain is the main island, the chunk of land. And England is one of the four nations that, along with Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, makes up the United Kingdom. You know, this whole complex web of relationships was built over 1,000 years of history. And with all the modern debates about independence in places like Scotland, it really makes you wonder, what's this map going to look like in another 10 or 50 or even 100 years? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.